Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room, and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player, any age, at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. And the concussions I've got, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
Lights are bright on Friday night.
It's time to talk a little 4A football. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett, Grant Goodwin here.
Like
Sideline to sideline, the 4A edition brought to you by NeuroGuard Plus, right here on L4 Media. As we like to review the week that was and preview the week that is. And, of course, we're going to have Coach X join us. I'm looking like Joe Cocker from the 70s right now, because right before we started to record, the mic arm that I use snapped in half like a twig. All the steroids I've been taking.
So aggressive, man.
You know me, I'm just
You're
throwing things
all
around.
pumped up about New Diana and Troop, the game we're going to be at. And you were like, I think New Diana's going to get upset. You just broke it. And then I'm like, dude, hold your water, bro.
So if please, I know somebody will say, well, why are you so far off the camera angle? Because I'm, I don't know if you can
move
see.
it down in front of you.
I can't. It's broke.
Move that table. Move it out. Move this. You don't need your computer. Do
No,
it all
that's-
up here like I do in the IBM.
Yeah. How'd that Brenham running back do against Gilmer again?
Shut up. He had like 333 yards. Dude.
I just want to jump right into it. You and I last week with Kevin McPherson, we go out to Sulphur Springs.
Mm-hmm.
The atmosphere is electric. Prim Stadium.
The dinner was even better.
Yeah,
than
White
the
Oak
game.
Buffet. Yeah, it was. Carl's Jr. would have been better than what that game was. But Prim Stadium, still beautiful. Sulphur Springs, man, great crowd. Atmosphere was there. And then Sulphur Springs looked at the big lights and went, oh, crap.
Now, I know you say that, and they did to a point. But Sulphur Springs, they got dominated by Salina, and Salina forced some of those mistakes. I know Sulphur Springs.
You're right about that.
They jumped off sides. They had some They had some 5-yard penalties here and there.
Yeah,
but Salina absolutely whipped it out on them and did whatever they wanted. Sulphur Springs couldn't have stopped Salina, no matter how well Sulphur Springs played. Now, I think Sulphur Springs could have moved the ball a little bit more against Salina, maybe put up a few more points without their transgressions.
So you're saying they were feeling guilty?
Yeah, but there's no way I think that Sulphur Springs would have been within 2 touchdowns in this game, even if they played their best game.
See, I do disagree with that. I do. I agree with what you're saying. Dude, Salina's that offensive line. And I will say this. It felt like Salina could have scored 50 if they wanted to.
Yeah.
That offensive line and how they run their offense. But, man, I just –
They were playing pitch and catch in the second half, man. I'm telling you.
I think we overvalued Sulphur Springs. I think we thought
I think Sulphur Springs is going to be a good football team. They got to clean things up. But
yeah. I mean, again, we're talking on the state level. I'm not talking about like I think they're a perfectly fine team. We'll see what they're going to do going forward. They're going to play Paris this week, and Paris is now doing Paris things that they'll look great against. Panther Creek and lose in a very competitive game after beating a very good Lake Dallas team, and then Aubrey beats them by 3 touchdowns.
I'll say this: Salina looks like the best 4A team that I've seen this year.
Yeah, I do. I don't disagree at all.
Okay, and we've seen the Carthages and we've seen the Kilgores, Stephenvilles, but Salina right now is looking like the most dominant team when seeing them in person.
Speaking of, though, people have kind of forgotten about Davenport as they beat Fredericksburg 35-17, and the Wolves are now 6-1. They're a team that has the depth and stuff. In fact, you kind of feel like Davenport and Panther Creek are almost interchangeable with the size of the school, what they do well. They both have really good quarterbacks, but people have not forgotten about Davenport, but they're still there. And I still think that they're going to be there at the end of the day when it comes to the last 4 teams standing.
Yeah, I think Davenport still kind of announces themselves as a region favorite, right?
Yes.
At least in the region finals.
Very much
and
so.
then after that, who knows?
Hey, look at Bridge City.
Yeah, 6-0.
This is a program that, they have been down forever. They have a state championship. They've only been to the playoffs 15 times, and every year, they're one of those teams that you always say they're one of those when you look at them, you go, why are they not better? They're usually pretty big. They usually have some athletes, but for whatever reason, they can never put it together. Yet Josh Smalley comes over from Orangefield, and he immediately has turned them around. They're 6-0 in overall, but more importantly, they're 3-0 in district. They've got Livingston this week. The Lions are really down this year.
They beat Hardin Jefferson 28-24 this week, right?
Really
good Hardin Jefferson team.
Yes, a really solid team that came in feeling really good about themselves after 3 straight wins.
Struggling over there?
Huh?
Struggling?
It's just, it's the last show. It's me tonight. It's the last show. This whole thing over here just makes it weird.
Maybe you'll have your Brenham night tonight.
Probably will. Huffman Hargrave, they've bounced back. Last year they were young after we saw them a couple years ago take Kilgore to the mat in round 3 of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But I love seeing Bridge City here, and I hope they continue it, and I think they will.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about you talked about Paris. Did you mention that?
Yeah, Aubrey, man.
49-28.
And we said this a few weeks ago. We unfairly maybe wrote Aubrey off because they started the district play by getting thumped by Sulphur Springs and Salina. But man, this win against Paris puts them right back into the thick of things. They got one of the biggest quarterbacks you're going to see, and they're a team that they're
like 6'6",
6'5", yeah, 6'5", 6'6". But they're one of those teams. They're not going to wow you with a lot of things, but man, when you look at them, 4-3 on the year, and they've played some solid teams like Brock and Sulphur Springs and Salina, and they've beaten some solid teams. And dude, it's Paris though, man. This is just what Paris does. Yeah. Right when you think you figure there's something about the water out in that part of East Texas with Paris and Dangerfield and them. When you think they're going to zig, they zag. And it's wonderful to watch, and it's so frustrating when you're trying to gauge what Paris is, because when you just look at Paris and what they've done, I would say, hey, you put them up against almost anybody in 4A Division I, they probably could win. But you also, if you put them up against anybody in 4A Division I, they could also get beat by 4 touchdowns.
Right.
And it's so mind-blowing, confusing, but good win for Aubrey.
That means that's a Paris team that's scary in the playoffs.
And not getting beat the rest of the year.
Right. All right. How about one of the most impressive teams in Class 4A outside of Alvarado to me has been Robinson. They beat Lorena 41-6. That's a pretty good Lorena team that I know dropped down to Class 3A, but Lorena is still playing kind of with the Lorena numbers, right?
Yeah.
And Robinson every week is leaving no doubt.
Look, I know the shine of that Glen Rose win was a little taking off because the very next week Glen Rose gave up a ton of points, but still, after playing Alvarado close for 2.5 quarters and then beating Glen Rose, the fact that they've continued that by destroying Hillsboro, and Hillsboro's not a bad team this year, 48-22. And then again, yes, I know Lorena's 1-5. Yes, I know Lorena came up from 4 or from 3A, but go and look, and Lorena has lost to Malakoff, Franklin, Lampasas, and now Robinson. And this Robinson game is the biggest one. You know, they played Malakoff close before they got stretched out 34-12. Same thing with Franklin. In this one, Robinson never gave him a choice.
Right.
I think it's finally time to start saying, you know, we're starting to look in the playoffs and who are the region favorites and stuff. And I mean, Robinson's probably saying, hey, why not us?
Right. Yeah.
And by the way, the
Rightfully
one
so.
team that they lost to, Alvarado, is the most impressive going, in my opinion, right now in 4A.
Yes, absolutely. Cardea, that quarterback for Alvarado.
Just a joy to watch.
Oh, man. All right. Carthage, 59, Center 21. Man, Center's coming into this game. Our defense is right. Our offense maybe isn't as prolific as it
But
has
still
been.
good.
But we can hang in there with some Carthage, and then boom, Carthage, 59-21.
We said it after week 1. It's real easy to get hyperbolic. Oh my God, Jet Surratt threw 4 interceptions. People forget that Jet Surratt literally did that last year in week 1, and then turned out had to make and didn't throw another
It was on
interception.
one
for
leg against
one
Kilgore.
shoulder too. And so just Carthage being Carthage. And for Center, you're perfectly fine. I still think Center, if they can get that number 2 spot in district, I still think Center's a team you don't want to play in the first couple rounds of the playoffs.
Yep. Belleville 35, Sealy 28. What a good game. This is a game we
Went to
featured.
overtime.
Yeah, that was 1 overtime, right?
Yeah, 1 overtime.
This is a game we featured last week. That Belleville running game will just pound you and pound you and pound you. Our question was that Belleville defense outside of DJ, Sealy had their chances offensively.
You know, this is a game. Chase Burnett, big Belleville fan, he kind of helps us with information down there with Sealy and Belleville and other teams. And he said it best. He goes, maybe I've been kind of hard on these teams because Sealy's one loss was to Bay City. And I know Bay City themselves had a confusing loss, but they've bounced back from that.
Yeah.
And they look really good. And so by proxy, Belleville's win against Sealy, I think is a really good win. I think Sealy and Belleville are the 2 teams in this district that could make some noise. Well, of course, Belleville we know, but look, Clint Finley at Sealy has completely got them playing some of the best ball they've played in the last 4 or 5 years since that 2018 team when they were 13-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think Sealy's again one of those teams you don't want to play in the first couple rounds of the playoffs.
Yeah. How about Canyon Randall 27, Dumas 17? Randall's run defense held the Demon to just 72 yards rushing on 30 carries. Randall's now 6-0.
Dude, Dumas might be the best 2-4 team in the state. They lost by 7 to Canadian. They lost by 7 to Plainview. They lost by 4 to Bushland, and they lose by 10 to Canyon Randall.
It's
Again,
crazy.
I know it sounds – we keep saying this, but if Dumas can figure it out and get into the playoffs, but that's going to be hard in 2-4A Division I. You've got Randall and West Plains both 1-0. Hereford's 1-0. Canyon, surprisingly, is the 4th-place team right now, and some would still say that Canyon is still the favorite of the district. So Dumas might end up being a really good 5-5 team and sitting on the outside looking in.
Yeah, it could be. All right, West Orange Stark 39, Jasper 36. West Orange Stark's down 36-19 in the second half and scored a touchdown in the final minute to move on to 5-1.
Dude, it's weird seeing this Mustang team have an offense.
Coach
Hickman. You okay there?
Excuse me. Coach Hickman, man's really done a great job this year.
I'm worried about it's weird to say this. I'm worried about the defense, though. They're giving up points. But if West Orange Stark can continue to score 30 and 40 points a game, they're going to be fine.
Yeah. All right. How about Henderson 14, Maybank 10? Was this a trap game for Henderson? They're coming off that big win against Kilgore last week. You would expect Henderson to pull out a bigger win than a 14-point or a 4-point win over Maybank. I kind of thought, do you think that's just like a trap game for Henderson?
Well, I think yes. And also I think you tip your hat to Maybank. They played keep away on offense. I think Henderson only had like 7 possessions all game. And again, all jokes aside, Maybank legitimately, they're 1-5, but they're legitimately better than they were. But yeah, I'm like you. You'd like to see Henderson respond after beating Kilgore.
I mean, Justin Starling ran for 119 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah,
so.
I legitimately think it was just Maybank just did everything. They went for fourth down multiple times. They kept it third and short. And again, let's remember this: 6-1 Henderson. They're still learning how to win.
Yeah.
And by learning how to win, that doesn't mean just going out and beating Kilgore. That means going out and beating Kilgore, and then the next week beating a Maybank team that's just lying in wait and has nothing to lose.
Right.
Now, I think we'll start to get that calibration this week because Henderson's going to be playing Pine Tree.
Yeah. All right. Here's a team that left no doubt was Kilgore 42, Chapel Hill 7. Kilgore dominated this game, 529 yards of total offense to Chapel Hill's 131 yards of total offense.
Kilgore might have responded better
just like
than
last year.
Exactly. And again, we keep saying this. Chapel Hill is really pretty. They're really fun to watch. I don't want to say they're the Dallas Cowboys because at least they make it to state championship games, but they're kind of that way where as long as
they don't like physicality.
Yeah, if they get punched in the mouth, they don't respond.
Yes, bold.
But now Kilgore maybe responded better to the loss to Henderson than Henderson responded to the win to Kilgore.
Right.
Kilgore just reminded everybody they're still Kilgore. Yeah.
Look at this stat line for Kilgore's quarterback, Kason Brooks. 10 of 13 for 349 yards and 3 touchdowns passing. And then Rashawn Williams, 119 yards on 18 carries.
I would legitimately like to know in the history of Kilgore football how many 300-yard passers they've had because I'm betting it's less than 5.
I would think so. Yeah.
And the fact that Kilgore, if that passing game continues, that's just something that's even different than what Kilgore normally does.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it for the review. A little short week on the previews too.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Coach X, and preview Week 8. My God, I feel like Grant right now. It's that bad, folks. We'll be back.
Feeling pretty.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player at any age or any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm writing. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. And with concussions I've got, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
Hey, that was a good point.
I think we might start seeing some go back.
Lights are bright on Friday night.
Sideline to
Fall in
sideline.
small Texas town.
The
people train
It's
like
right here. I'm
moths
still
to flame, and
figuring all
there
this
ain't
out. I'm having
nobody
some mic
around.
issues. But we're back here for the Week 8 preview. Before we get into that, hang on. Let me get Coach X up here. Man, I kind of wish Coach X was in the studio. That's how bad it is right now. All right, so here we go. Coach X. Hey, Grant.
Hey, what?
You hear that sound?
No.
That's the sound of Coach X crossing the border back into the great state of Texas.
So light-footed, I couldn't even hear it.
I even queued up the Stone Cold theme song right when I came into Memphis and saw Cyclone Stadium. Got to be hell on the ball boys there. You kick an extra point and the ball goes out onto Highway 287. Hey, there you go, Coach's son. Watch out for that 18-wheeler, but damn it, get that GST. It cost $100.
He's right, though, man. That stadium in Memphis is right on the highway.
Yeah, but it's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's cool.
But he is right. You kick it that way on. That has to. Well, it's I don't know how much they kick extra points in Memphis.
They might go for 2 every time.
There you go.
I'll be going through there next week on the way to Sunray.
So speaking of funny story, so Brock's middle school went over to play Argyle's middle school, right?
Uh-huh.
And so Brock thinks they've won the game. And Argyle's all celebrating
because they scored and kicked a extra point.
Well, they kicked extra points the whole time, and Argyle was going for 2, and so they thought they won the game. And Argyle's all celebrating, and so Coach Mathis, the head coach of Brock's, like, "What's going on here?" And Argyle's like, "Oh yeah, we forgot to tell you, we do 6-man style here, which is smart for middle school because you want to get them to kick. But yeah, so in 6-man, if you don't know, if you go for 2, you get 1 point. If you get field goal, you actually get 2 points. So anyway. I just thought that was funny. He's Coach.
Then nobody told him
till after the game. I like that. Coach X says, "I got a lead on a job. I'm going to show Tim Waltz how to hold and load a shotgun." You know that guy was a football coach.
Now, who's Tim Waltz?
He's the vice president nominee for the Democratic Party.
For Dominican
I don't understand
Republic?
this part.
It's weird. I don't know.
Long night. I don't understand this part. You know, that guy was a football coach in politics, said we should stick together. Hold on. I just got an X notification. What is this? Oh, wow. Oh, no. Holy hell. On second thought, I'm going to pass on the job. I'm going to stop in Graham and get some egg rolls, though. You buy. I still think that is the best idea y'all had.
What?
T-shirt. You buy. I love that. I think it's hilarious.
Okay.
And that is what
it.
Coach X has to say. All
Brett,
right, let's
sideline to sideline. You buy T-shirts. Please.
If you would like that, let us know, Terry or Grant and Terry at S2Sport.com. All right, let's get into Week 8 4A previews, and we've got some good ones this week.
My God, it is so cold in this studio.
Oh, baby, it ain't
Why do we have to have
yet.
it down to 40, dude?
It's
Seriously.
not there. It's 65.
No, there's no way it's 65.
Go
in
look,
here.
it's 65.
Dude.
It's because I got that vent off up there. See?
I got sugar cones on my chest.
I know I'm going to start throwing dollar bills at you. Anyway.
Thank you.
Let's go to Laverne.
I like good sugar cones.
I like what you put
Rocky
on-
Road inside it.
I like what you
that's
put on the
good.
run sheet. La Verona versus Bay City.
No, it's Lavernia.
I know. I'm just saying that's what it says on the run sheet.
It was the morning after the Texas game and the Oregon and Ohio State game. So obviously I was feeling a little under the weather, if you know what I mean.
How do you feel, man, if you're Ohio State's quarterback?
Oh,
how are you feeling right now?
He made Dak when he
I was about to say he
slid
made
too early.
Dax look worse because at least Dak almost got up and got the snap off.
Yeah.
That was like 1 second left, and he slid
Yeah.
short of the first down, so you weren't even going to get that for you. But anyway,
Right.
let's
What a
go.
game that was.
Oh, yeah, it
though,
was.
man.
Great
Oh,
game,
my
31-32.
gosh, man. That's what college football is all about right there.
Yep. All right,
And this is what high school football is all about. Lavernia versus Bay City. Man, Lavernia's running back, Sean Garza, 130 yards rushing so far this year. Bay City has a really good quarterback, Alex Estrada, Jada Andrews at running back, Zylan Williams. That's a group, a 3-headed monster that we seem to bring up every other week for Bay City, but they're the real deal.
They're the real
Their
deal.
only loss was 35-7 to Edna.
That's still pretty bad.
Edna's really good football team, but it is a head scratcher because Edna's down in 3A. But right now, I think Bay City wins this game. I think since that loss to Edna, Bay City's gotten right with ball. I think Bay City will win this football game.
I like Lavernia in the upset.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lavernia got beat last week 22-20 by Port Lavaca Calhoun. That was a little bit of a shock. And to be honest with you, they're fighting. I mean, I know this sounds crazy because it's only the second district game, but they're fighting for their playoff lives because you got
Everybody's fighting for their playoff life right now.
Thanks, obvious man.
I mean, right?
But you in this district alone, you got Bay City at 1-0, El Campo at 1-0, Port Lavaca now at 1-0, and then you've got Beeville, Floresville, and Lavernia. And Lavernia is the team that shouldn't be there. That was a big upset, and maybe that shows there's something wrong with them. But I still think that they're going to pull the upset off. Let's see what Coach X has to say. Wait, did he say something on this one? Yeah. I copied and pasted this from Grant text to my phone while driving. So it might not be the best idea, but man's got to do what he's got to do. So Grant says it's Verona versus the Bass City Rollers.
Did I say Bass City?
No.
Oh.
Well, I say, oh, my little pretty one, when you're going to give me some time, La Verona. And the Black Cats say, give us a call on SATURDAY night. But the game is being played on Friday, so who knows? But it's just a matter of time. La Verona, Black Cats win. See, man, he can sometimes be so funny. That was really well done.
Yeah, it's great.
Let's go across the state and let's talk about Hereford. This team, the White Faces, we always joke about how we had
Canyon Randall.
Yes, I'm kidding.
Only one loss between the two. Who has the one loss?
Hereford, remember, to Seminole. And that game got away from them. Them losing this,
a lot of games got away from people who play
Seminole. Yeah, you're right. I still would have liked Hereford to be a little bit closer into that game. I like the Raiders in this one, man.
Shit, it's cold.
Okay, dude, it's not that bad.
Dude, it is freezing in here.
I like the Raiders with
with
Case and Benton at quarterback and Dylan Ray at running back and Colin Miller. They have that trifecta. They have a really solid offensive line. Randall on the year defensively has been really solid. They've not given up more than 26 points. And in that game, they scored 50. So you go, okay, where were those points scored? I love what the White Faces are doing. I think they're a playoff team. I think they could go a couple rounds, but I like the Raiders in this one.
Yeah, give me Randall in this one as well.
All right, Coach X says, I went to school with a guy. Okay, I'm calling BS on this. I went to school with a guy named Randall Hereford. He had a huge white face too. He also popped a boner in the shower after football practice once. That was a rough freshman year for Randall, and it's going to be a rough night for the White Faces. Randall pops up some excited offense, stiffens up the D, and gets the W. And I think Randall Hereford might be known as Coach X now. I'm just saying it now.
Yeah, Coach X is the only one that
notices
a guy popping a boner in the shower. All right. Briscoe Panther Creek versus Lake Dallas. I tell you, at the beginning of the season, this is a game that I would have said we got to be at.
Yeah.
A little shine off of it.
Yeah.
Like the way that Salina worked Panther Creek over, there's no getting around that.
But are you not? I mean, I think what you say about, and going back talking about Sulphur Springs, and yes, I think Sulphur Springs spit the bit a lot in that. But you are right. Salina's just on a different level.
They are on a different level. But if I'm Panther Creek and I entered the year as a top 10 team with state championship aspirations, I play Salina a hell of a lot closer than what I got waxed over on, right? But look, I know Panther Creek still has Graylin Fry at quarterback and Jalen Lott at receiver, probably one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos in the state, right?
Yeah.
But when Salina shuts you out like that, and you're the greatest 1-2 punch in the state, no. I think you're done.
There's something about Panther Creek that just doesn't. I know this is going to sound really weird
because they're in the Metroplex.
They don't feel organic.
They're not in 5A or 6A.
Yeah, they don't feel organic. I mean, they're just like when I watch them. There's just they're a new school, but they're not like Brock new where they were small. So there's no community to it. There's no tradition.
Right.
You watch a game,
but I mean that's Lone Star was like that. They made it to Houston to the state championship.
No, you're right. But like Lone Star played Marshall that year, and I think that was round 3. And Lone Star,
Forney, I was at that game.
Yeah, and they dominated Marshall. But Lone Star brought a great crowd. Like Lone Star had a crowd early. I
don't know. I was at that game. It wasn't
appreciate support, Marshall.
I was
push
not
myself.
on the Marshall side.
I know you
'cause
painted your face red.
I
You
did.
painted your face black, and that was really confusing, and we got in a lot of trouble.
That's why we can't go to
That's why
four
we can't
now.
go to 40 or Marshall games anymore.
But like I don't know, that might have been a lot of
Just a lot of bleed over because it was the third
Yeah,
round. That's a
yeah.
good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But you know
know,
what
they're
I mean?
taking on a Lake Dallas team with a really good quarterback in Thomas Adams, who's thrown for about 1,200 yards. Gavin Young at receiver. The Lake Dallas defense has been really solid, only giving up about 16 points a game.
Well, I mean, this was a Lake Dallas team until Paris beat them a couple weeks ago. That was top 5 in the state.
Yeah.
And again, that Paris game, you just have to say sometimes Paris is going to do that. I still like Lake Dallas. I know Panther Creek's the favorite, but I like the Falcons in this game.
I'm going with Panther Creek because
I have no problem with that,
Graylin
dude.
Fry and Thomas or Jalen Lott and Christian Trickett at those
I was
two
about to say that's the one
receivers.
guy you didn't bring up when you're talking
Yeah.
about. He's very underrated.
Right. So I'm going with the known quantity here.
I have no problem with that.
Right. But I do not disagree. I think Lake Dallas could win this. All right. Here we go. Cuero versus Sinton.
Has Cuero rounded back into
Man.
form?
This is a game maybe we should be at. I
Yeah.
wish maybe. Are we going to go to New Diana? or
Yeah,
go
we're going
this-
to because I still think Sinton wins this by a couple touchdowns.
I still think Cuero wins this one.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Wow, I like that. I disagree, but I like that. I
Go
still,
back
Where?
several years,
Where are we going?
the last 15 years, and look at 20, 40 years, because I know you won't go back that far and fact check me. But how many times has Sinton beaten Cuero?
Well, that's a good question, actually.
Not many.
That's a real.
There
good
has
question.
been some, but Cuero has owned this.
I just
and I
think
think
Sinton's on a
Cuero's getting
different
right
level
with
this year.
ball. I don't think Sinton has played the schedule that Cuero's played.
But Sinton's played a pretty solid schedule.
They have, but not the schedule that Cuero's played.
I don't
They
disagree
played.
with that.
They played further north of Region 3,
Yeah,
and Sinton has not. And I'm telling you right now, I think this is going to show Cuero wins this game. I don't think it's by a lot by any means. I think it could go either way, right? But I think Cuero wins this one. You think Sinton wins it?
Yeah.
All right, Lindale and Kilgore.
no, Kilgore's on a
Well,
bloodletting. They're angry, man. That Henderson.
They're
game,
angry, but Lindale's pretty darn good football team.
Lindale's a really
I take
solid
Kilgore
team.
in this one, by the way.
Lindale's a really solid team, and in any other district, Lindale would be a team that I think could be a playoff team. I mean, look, they took Gilmer to the mat and lost by 1. They took Van to the mat and lost by 5. But then Chapel Hill beats them by 12, and we saw what Kilgore. And I know you can't completely do that, but I think Kilgore.
I think Kilgore wins this one, but don't be shocked to see Lindale push them.
Let's think of that.
Lindale Kilgore is always a good.
Oh
game.
yeah, it's always a fun. And Lindale just knows how to muck it up with teams.
Yeah.
Let's stay in that district though, and what I think is a very underrated game. Henderson on the road against Pine Tree. Again,
Ooh.
Henderson beat Kilgore 2 weeks ago. They struggled last week against
Can
Maybank.
that Henderson defense stop the Pine Tree offense? Because that Pine Tree offense can put up points.
Unless they're playing Kilgore.
Right. Well, but that's
and
how
I'll tell you
good
what, I'll
Kilgore's
tell you
defense.
what, though, people don't talk enough about Pine Tree's defense. Holding Gilmer to 15, holding Kilgore, even though they lost, holding Kilgore to 17.
Mhm.
That to me, where this game is going to be won or lost for Pine Tree, and I do think they're going to win this game, it's going to be Pine Tree's defense holding a Henderson offense that, you know, they looked really good against Kilgore and then last week. And yes, we can say, well, Maybank played keep away, but like you said, you've got to score more than 14 points against Maybank.
Right. Yeah. And that's exactly why I like Pine Tree in this game. All right. Sulphur Springs and Paris. Is Sulphur Springs so pissed off at getting their just pants pulled down to their ankles by Salina? You know, Paris didn't have much better of an outing last week.
Paris has lost 2 in a row now, man.
Yeah, they have. My intuition here tells me to actually pick Paris in this game.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way too, because again, yes, Salina.
Because if Sulphur Springs can't clean it up more than 3/4 of what they did against Salina, they're going to get beat every week.
I just look again, Salina is amazing, but looking at Sulphur Springs offense, I was very underwhelmed. And not all that was because of what Salina was doing. We're talking about just
dude, that Salina defensive front will make you look bad.
yeah,
It'll
but
make
dude,
you
we're
look
talking
average.
about
Do
a
you
quarterback that
not
was floating every pass, dude.
No, I know. But do you remember the penetration that Salina's getting?
Oh no, again,
and
100%.
if it's not penetration, they're tying up the point of attack where the line. I mean, so it's a tie. That's all you want anyway, right? As a defensive line, most of the time they're getting penetration. At most, it's a tie. At the very worst, and those linebackers for Salina are flying around. I think Paris. No, they're not going to do what Salina did, but I think Paris's defensive front can wreak enough havoc on that front for Sulphur Springs. After seeing Sulphur Springs last week, Paris will win this game.
So by the most Paris thing possible, they're about to lose by 5 touchdowns.
Right, yeah, it's going to be the worst.
Do you think Van has a chance against Gilmer?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win, but Van plays everybody really tough.
Oh yeah, that is
the last 2 years at least. I think Gilmer wins this game. I think they win it going away. But do I think they have a chance? Yes.
Yeah, I'm curious. Jackson Moffitt at quarterback, Caden Rowe at wide receiver. Again, Van has another 6'4" wide receiver, dude. They just grow them on trees out there.
It's that offensive line last year that Van had that made them so deadly, and they lost a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
So that's what hurts them.
They still have Collier Bryant at tackle, so it'll be interesting to see. Brock Mineral Wells, this is one of those that, on paper looks good. Head coach Mineral Wells, Cody Worrell, of course, was the offense coordinator for years at Brock. By the way, we have a Brock and Mineral Wells show on the network. They'll be recorded Thursday. They'll be up. Brock, we've talked about it. I knew they were going to be good in 4A, but I thought that you were going to be able to tell, like, okay, they're with the big boys now. No, Brock's just a big boy now. Brody Woods has stabilized at quarterback. He doesn't seem to have those like against Malakoff where they're in control of the game. All they need to do is finish a drive, and he just throws one of those what the heck play interceptions. He's not doing that anymore. Cody Farmer at running back, Colt Matlock at wide receiver, Cannon Stevens. Brock has rebuilt that offensive and defensive line on the fly.
This Brock defense has given up just under 8 points
against
a
really solid schedule.
Yeah.
Not as tough as they've played the last 2 years, but still a really good 4A schedule.
Mineral Wells, their only loss was to Godley, 31-14. But,
Godley's
Brock
solid.
is greater than
Godley. By far.
Right.
And I like what Mineral Wells doing. They have maybe one of the most underrated players in Prestine Harrison. He's 6'6", plays wide receiver. He'll play tight end in college, but he's at a place and in a system where he's not going to get 75 receptions. That's just not what Mineral Wells does. I think Mineral Wells plays tough early, but Brock's just on a different level.
Yeah, right now they certainly seem to be. All right, Robinson versus Waco Connolly. Robinson's quarterback, Bryce McCurdy, has been everything this year. Evan Moreno has ran for almost 950 yards so far this year. Austin Marshall at receiver has been a big playmaker. Connolly, Jamarian Vincent, quarterback, probably one of the
most electric players you're going to see in all classes, not just 4A.
Does he have enough around him, though, to outscore this Robinson team? Braden Ford, really good running back, right? Conley's losses were to Alvarado 55-42 and to Athens 34-21.
We talk about
Robinson.
We talk about Paris, and Conley fits right into that. And we've said that for many years. And so I'm going to go in the most Conley way. They're going to pull the upset off.
No way.
Oh yeah, this is a one possession game, dude.
It's in Belmead, right? I think it's at Conley.
Yeah, I think it is. Let me check. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. But how much does that really?
With them two, they've played each other so many
across town.
Yeah,
crosstown.
Coach X has something on this one.
Robinson wins this ball game, by the way.
Coach X has this to say: the Sugar Rays versus the Johns, which sounds like a guy that won't pay his lady of the night, and now she's mad. Grant can tell you all about those situations. Anyway,
I'll say I'll PayPal you after the fact, after the deed is done, and you still find one or two that are dumb.
Do you
enough
ever
to
ask
take
if you can use Afterpay or Zip to pay it off?
Zip.
Can I pay it in 4 payments, please?
Can I use my toll tag?
Anyway, Sugar Ray gonna bust up John.
He's my Kroger card one time.
I don't know who. Oh, John Conley. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sugar Ray.
Governor.
Oh, Sugar Ray Robinson. Sorry,
Yeah,
it's been a long
God.
night. Anyway,
I
Sugar
thought
Ray.
you were a history buff.
Can I finish?
No, just you say you bill yourself as a history
I
buff.
don't bill myself as anything.
You do too. You always are. I'm a history buff. I'm a history buff. I'm a history buff. And then I'm like, okay. You say that.
Oh my God, folks, it's been one of those nights. Anyway, he thinks that Robinson's going to roll. You think that Robinson's going to roll. I think it's going to be a good game. I think Conley's going to pull off the slight upset. Either way, that's going to do it for week 8. We do appreciate everybody joining us. If you have any questions, thoughts, or comments, email the show, Grant and Terry at S2Sport.com. Find us on Facebook, Sideline to
Lights
Sideline.
are bright
Email,
on Friday
find us
night.
on Twitter.
Fall in
at Grant
small
and Terry.
Texas
And
town.
until next week, he's Grant. I'm
People
Terry.
train
This is
like
Sideline
moths to
Sideline, the
flame,
480
and there
edition,
ain't
brought to you by
nobody
Neuron Plus,
around.
right here on L.
Even the cops disregard the
Radio.
shops and the banks.